Okay, so if we look at these two side by side, they're not going to look that dissimilar in terms of setup. This is where I said, okay, less knee flex. So you went through the process again, and that's better. So you see a lot better.
Tiny.
Exactly. It doesn't seem a lot to you in terms of visually, but when you stood there, it's like my legs are really straight and then I'm bending. So get a little bit more dynamic. So we're not going to have so much kind of squat there. Exactly. I think when you've been poorly or you're cold, as it has been in the last few days, we just sort of snuggle up and get all like this way rather than actually standing with the ball nice and dynamic and letting your body work. So when you're in that position there, as you went back, backswing there because your arms are doing all the work, the club gets thrown out here. That club at this point now you can see is sort of we call dissected the golf ball, coming from sort of an outside path, sending the golf ball more in that direction or just topping off the side there because you're coming a scything action across it. Whereas this one here now where the club goes back, again less knee flex, hands now starting to work down. Club still a smidgen outside there, but if you look at the club here, at no point does that club shaft go through the golf ball. It's a much more direct hit now. It's a little bit off the toe of the club, as you can see there. So that's going to be losing you some distance, probably about 20 yards maybe, okay, where you're catching off here.
Am I standing a bit too far away?
Not possibly, but I would say in terms of the movement, because you're reaching out a little bit, the arc is being sort of, it's happening kind of too early, if that makes sense. Because the arc of the swing would need to be kind of in that way. If it happens a bit too early and sort of it kind of goes, it starts moving to the left too much, you might start towing it, okay? It may need you to sort of play about with the distance from the ball. I wouldn't try and change too much because where you stand the ball's pretty good, but it might have a little tweak. I mean, we're talking that much. I mean, you're striking it that far from the sweet spot. So it's not as if you're miles away from the ball. Maybe shuffling a little bit closer might help that, but say the club, if we can get it more in this direction as opposed to that direction.
Are my hands still too far away from my body?
Smidgen, but if you look at the difference there, okay, the gap between there and there is slightly more on that side. It's only marginal, but again, it's not going to suddenly change. The biggest thing for me is the fact we look where the club shaft is kind of started going through the edge of the ball, as you can see, where this time it's probably moved, doesn't sound a lot, maybe an inch inside more. If we came back a little bit more and just got that strike a little bit better,
is it more, is it more the angle rather than I can't explain, because it still seems as if I'm putting my hands
your
up
arm, your hands will still rise a little bit just because of centrifugal force sort of throwing out, but it's more the direction the club or the path the club is tracking to the golf ball. We don't want to be coming too much this way, we want to be coming more from a slightly sort of natural curve. If you think where you're stood to the side of the golf ball, the natural curve of the golf club would be to go on that way. If it's going that way, we're coming across and we're sliding the ball and losing power. Okay, so that's going to lose power. The contact being a smidgen off there, so with the toe part of the club, will lose some power. So the fact now we're going a little bit further with a more direct hit and straighter, when we start getting a better contact, it's going to be 10 or 15 yards further. So what's that, an 8 or 9 on you in there, is it 7 9?
7.
That's going to be over 100 yards easily, because these are going about 90 yards-ish with what we would regard there with the contact there. Probably, you can put a number to it, that's probably missed the sweet spot by about an inch, which doesn't sound a lot, but an inch on the club faces, you're hitting it here, not there. So once we change that spot and just again refine the sweet spot,
it's coming down.
It's just that angle of that club. I mean, the club to be, in theory, for you moving a bit more out this way to the right rather than too far around to the left. Okay, but then that visual there with the cones or these mats, you can always use them. If you want to come and borrow any of these cones, you're more than welcome to come and grab them and just put them on and bay out there, or even use the bay in here if you want to. If I'm not teaching, just sort of set up that sort of little move there, or just put 2 clubs on the ground. You could do it on your own here. You could just set up a sort of golf club on the ground kind of there, and then one sort of off to the right that way, so just to give you sort of a visual of the club sort of moving a bit more in that direction, or feeling like it's going more in that direction as opposed to the left too much. So
make
sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good.